We're back. It's Thursday, 16th day of April, 2020. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life Channel. Another busy day in store for us. Beautiful morning, lots of sunshine, 36 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. The birds are chirping. The shrubs and the trees are blooming. Spring is here, and we're all, or most of us anyway, are self-isolating. It could have been worse. I mean, this whole thing could be like in June when everybody's just busting out and doing all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, if we're going to have a COVID-19 outbreak, how come it couldn't happen in December? And we still deal with it. We still move forward. Lots of stuff to get to. The news will be some COVID related, some not, as you might imagine. Eric continued his conversation via Zoom. Eric Granstrom, our sports director, with the athletic director for the Eastmont School District, Russ Waterman, to find out what their plans are going forward. Now they have no spring sports to speak of. I guess they're probably looking forward to the upcoming fall sports campaign come September of this year. We'll catch up with Russ and Eric when we get to sports. We'll have the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, and everyone is entitled to might be not his opinion. And I had a fascinating Skype conversation with Casey Leigh a couple of days ago. We're going to play it for you here in the back half of the hour. She came up with a really cool idea. It's called the Share a Meal program, and we'll get into the nuts and bolts of that, but it's an interview you do not want to miss. My conversation, again, via Skype with Casey Leigh. As you know by now, whatever interviews or conversations we're able to conduct on this program, we're doing so remotely, so we can be safe in our studio, and our guests can be safe in their, well ensconced in their living room or kitchen or whatever it is. It's the safe way to do it, and it's the way we're going to do it, at least until, through the rest of this month. And maybe even longer. We don't know. Again, that's the whole thing about this. There's more unknowns than there is knowns, and so we simply plow forward on this Thursday. Let's take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless setup. Gorgeous morning, just beautiful. Strange weather yesterday. We were supposed to get up to near 70 degrees. That didn't happen. In fact, Wednesday, our high yesterday was 65 degrees. That happened at noon. And we kind of hung right around there. And then usually at this time of the year, most days really, as the afternoon progresses, we gradually warm up. That wasn't the case. We actually got cooler. We went from 65 to about 55 by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A little mini system that really wasn't in the forecast kind of slid through, and that kept us pretty cool yesterday. But the National Weather Service is quite confident in their upcoming forecast that we're going to be giving to you here in just a couple minutes. The sun peaked up over the horizon at 6:09 this morning. It's going to hang around, I'm told, all day today, and then it's going to head on off to bed about 7:52 tonight. That buys us 13 hours and 43 minutes of daylight on what's going to be a very beautiful stretch of weather, except for just a little bit of a hiccup on Saturday. We're going to cloud up a little bit. Could sure use some rain. We've talked about this. There's no precipitation at all in the forecast, so this drought-like conditions are going to continue. Camera number 2. Where are we off to, Megan? That would be Black Mountain, I believe. Good morning, Black Mountain. Lots of snow still in the Cascades, but it's starting to melt. Leavenworth is down there. Wave to Leavenworth, everybody. Okay, Leavenworth, wave back to me. There you go. Beautiful view from Black Mountain. That camera came in handy with the Alpenhof fire of a couple of days ago. We were able to keep an eye on it. It's completely contained now. It only got up to about 14 acres, but it's an early start to the wildfire season, and since we're in a drought condition right now, the grasslands and the forests, they're going to dry out real quick if they haven't already dried out. What a stunning view that is. I was on I think I mentioned this a couple of times, I actually took a trip up to the top of Black Mountain with one of our Sky-Fi technicians. It's a bit of a hair-raising drive to get there. The views are spectacular, but getting there can be a little bit of a white-knuckle deal. Thank goodness these guys are pros. Gals, too. Camera 3. Good morning to... This is the one I can never get right, Megan. Small Town Tower. Small's Homes Tower. There you go. I don't know what I'm talking about. Megan does. Thank goodness for that. And look at that electricity just flowing through those high-tension power lines. Just imagine the electricity. There you go. Camera number 4. Oh, I didn't get much sleep last night. Hey, good morning, Kashmir. Good to see you. The Appelantes camera is what we call that because it's high above the ridge that overlooks Appelantes, and you can see pretty much all of Kashmir, and you can see way off in the distance the orchards are in bloom. in the greater Kashmir area. I love it. What a great view that is. I love it. I suppose, I'm guessing because they're the first fruits that come off the tree, those are cherry blossoms. I honestly don't know. I'm talking about what we're seeing way off in the distance there. And you can see Mount Kashmir, Mount Stewart. So good morning to our friends in Kashmir. Thanks for starting your day. And again, very little traffic out there. That's the one thing I'm really amazed about is how light the traffic is as people are observing these stay home, stay healthy concerns as well they should be, because it looks like the curve is heading the other direction. In fact, that'll be our top story, how we're doing COVID-19 related here in north central Washington. That's when we get to news. But first things first, I got a slide to show you. This is an outlook into the next week. And as you can see, not bad at all for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then things are going to start getting more active right around Wednesday afternoon into Thursday. So pretty dry, no wind. We have no wind at all in the forecast. We had a little bit of light wind yesterday, didn't really happen. If we get any light rain at all, it'll be around the Wenatchee Valley, not in the Wenatchee Valley. Temperatures will be pretty much normal for most people, maybe a little warmer than that for us. And then, of course, as I just mentioned, Charity says good morning. Hi, Charity. And then, as we mentioned, by the middle of next week, things are going to start, I don't know, deteriorating, I guess. If you like sunny and mild weather, I guess deteriorating would be the proper word. So that's the outlook into next week. What we're more concerned about is what's happening between now and, say, into the weekend. And it looks something like this. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, by the way, gives your home a hug. Lots of sunshine today. About 66, which is what we hit yesterday. The only difference is we'll have sunshine pretty much all day today. And as I mentioned before, the National Weather Service are pretty confident that the short-term and long-term models that they're using with the computers and what they're looking at, things are they're pretty confident it's going to be quiet and mild today and Friday. A little unsettled on Saturday, as you see there, and then lots of sunshine Sunday, Monday, Tuesday before things change again on Wednesday. So sunshine 66 today, 42 for the overnight low. We do it again Friday. Friday's looking good. Sunshine 72. It's too bad this weather can't hold through the weekend. The weekend is not bad. I mean, it's going to be mild on Saturday, but we're going to have quite a bit of cloud cover. There's just the slightest chance of a light raindrop. I wouldn't bet on it. Any kind of rain that we get is going to be to the north of us and to the west of us. The valley itself is probably not going to see any kind of light rain at all on Saturday. Certainly the clouds will be prevalent, and a high of about 70. Sunday looks beautiful. Lots of sunshine and a high of 74. By the way, there's very little wind in this entire forecast. Then we're going to get even warmer. Monday, 76. Tuesday, 74. And then, oops, here comes the clouds on Wednesday. And we have about a 30% chance of rain on Wednesday. What we really need is a 100% chance of rain for about 3 days. That would get us caught up on the rain gauge because we are way behind on that. So pretty typical April weather. Temperatures above normal, and outside of the clouds on Saturday, we're in for a beautiful stretch of weather. Going to take a break at 9 minutes after the hour and come back with your Thursday morning news. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Introducing the most capable Sierra lineup ever.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Bountiful sunshine, 35 degrees, about 75% relative humidity. We're going to in for a beautiful day today. Lots of sunshine. Highs will be in the mid-60s. We'll be in the lower 70s on Friday. Clouds return, but not for very long on Saturday. And then Sunday, we'll wrap up the week with lots of sunshine and temperatures again back up into the 70s. Let's talk about news at 10 minutes after the hour on this Thursday. Tuesday, one of the slowest days in weeks for growth in the new COVID-19 cases in north central Washington. We got some good news for you here. And that includes Grant County, which had just one new positive test after steady and concerning growth in cases there. The latest positive test came from a Moses Lake resident. That brings Grant County's region high total to 122 cases. Chelan County added one new positive test to its total. So we're at 61 people in Chelan County with the coronavirus. Douglas County saw a big jump Monday because they had 11 positive tests in Waterville alone, and they added 2 more new cases since then. They now have 29. Okanagan County, 1 more positive test. That brings their total up to 14. None of the 4 counties reported new deaths. Now, despite the apparent slower spread of the virus, health officials throughout the region still warning residents to remain diligent about protecting themselves and protecting others. With $26 million in losses on the horizon from dealing with the coronavirus outbreak, Confluence Health is cutting salaries, starting at the very top. The Wenatchee network of hospitals and clinics announcing yesterday that CEO Peter Rutherford would take a 25% salary reduction with 10% salary cuts for his executive leadership team. The cuts will trickle down to department heads and managers with salary reductions anywhere between 3 to 7.5%, and to its clinicians who will take a 7 to 10% salary loss. The reductions are temporary while Confluence deals with the demands of COVID-19. Back in mid-March, in order to slow the spread of the virus, the Confluence Health Network stopped performing elective procedures, but elective procedures bring in the most money. It's responsible pretty much for Confluence's annual profits. Last week, as you know, Douglas County commissioners set out rules to allow some home construction during the COVID-19 crisis. On Tuesday, Chelan County followed suit. Now, Governor Jay Inslee's office says such rules might be at odds with his emergency public health declaration, but Chelan County Commissioner Bob Boogert told our very own Jefferson Robbins that letting some construction go forward is a necessary step.
We really needed to thread a very fine needle to get this so that we are in compliance, at least as best as we can tell, we're in compliance with the governor's proclamation related to stay home and stay healthy, to make sure that essential employees are protected and that they can continue to work. There has been the closure or the restriction on residential building construction, as you know. But under certain circumstances, as we understand from the governor's proclamation, that construction can occur if there is potential for damage to a residential construction that is halfway done or partially done, that is permitted and continuing, but it had to stop because of the governor's proclamation on March 27th. And a great example would be something like up at Lake Chelan, pier pilings or embankments or docks are being built where they're actually pouring concrete. They got the forms in, they're good to go, ready to debt, and this proclamation from the governor came in, which put a halt to that. And sure enough, the lake level and Lake Chelan will be rising, and so there's potential for economic damage and inability to complete that. So there's those situations where there's really a compelling need to allow that work to continue. There could be other situations where house is halfway built and the roof is not on, and there could be a situation where that could get approved. So it's not a blanket allowance for those that have the residential construction on the way to continue, because that, by our interpretation, would be in violation of the governor's proclamation. So it's really a fine line that we're drawing there.
In other news, an announcement yesterday, Wenatchee Valley College says it's going to be receiving coronavirus aid, relief, and economic security funding. They're supposed to get the money sometime this week. Funding is provided through the CARES Act, which was passed by Congress back on March 27th. It's going to provide aid to students and help the college cover COVID-19 related expenses. Now, Wenatchee Valley College will receive approximately $2.4 million from the federal government through this legislation. Of the funding being allocated to the college, 50% of that funding, or about $1.2 million, is for student emergency aid. This funding will provide direct emergency cash to grants to college students whose lives and educations were disrupted by the coronavirus outbreak. The funds have to be spent within 1 year of the allocation, and they have to be used for current and future students. Students who are experiencing financial hardship may qualify for emergency aid. You can learn more by going to Wenatchee Valley College's website at wvc.edu. Now, despite rumors to the contrary, the Forest Service says the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest isn't closed. Trails, undeveloped areas, dispersing camping, and most roads are still open. Confusion likely stemmed from the Forest Service announcement back on March 27th that it was closing developed recreation sites in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. That included campgrounds and snow parks and restroom facilities and rentals and fire lookouts and trailheads and things like that. But the Forest Service says there are other places, if you're a recreationist, that you can legally park on the roadside and then walk or bike to a trail. Still, some specific roads in high-use areas have been closed completely, such as Icicle Road near Leavenworth, and recreation areas along that route. Nonprofits struggling during this pandemic, and there are a lot of them. They got a lift this week from the Community Foundation of North Central Washington. The donor-supported agency parceled out about $90,000 in grants to essential programs on the front lines during the coronavirus emergency. Those include the Chelan Douglas Community Action Council, Serve Wenatchee Valley, Children's Home Society, SAGE, and Chelan Valley Hope Foundation. Director Beth Stipe says, and I'm quoting now, "We are looking at all of our resources right now and where they can help the most." End quote. Non-COVID related news. A Wenatchee man allegedly found with more than half an ounce of meth last year now faces charges of drug sales. 20-year-old Julius James Ceballos was arrested by Wenatchee police back in November. They were investigating a drive-by shooting in the 1300 block of Cascade Street. Now, Ceballos wasn't connected with the gunfire, but police say they found about 18 grams of methamphetamine in the residential shed where he was hiding. He's now jailed, and he's charged with possession with intent to distribute. Another person, 23-year-old Jessica Sanchez Salazar, was charged by warrant, but so far has not been brought into court. Sheriff's deputies say a Lake Wenatchee man displayed a handgun and threatened to shoot his neighbor on Tuesday afternoon. 50-year-old Larry Todd Schneider. He's currently at the Chelan County Regional Justice Center. He faces a likely charge of first-degree assault. Deputies were called to Fur Drive at Lake Wenatchee about 4:45 on Tuesday in the afternoon. They arrested Schneider nearby after a brief search. They said they found 2 handguns inside of his house. Schneider allegedly made paranoid complaints to deputies about his neighbor, saying the victim had spied on him using lasers and planted explosive devices around his property. And those are your headlines at 18 minutes after the hour on this Thursday. The news crew is putting together a newscast, most of them working from home, some of them working here, all of us trying to do our best to stay at least 6 feet away from each other. For many of us, it's pretty easy. With a preview of tonight's newscast, here's Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, yesterday marked the 26th anniversary of the movie Surviving the Game, shot right here in Wenatchee. We'll show you the trailer from 1994. I'll have your calmer and sunnier North Central Washington weather forecast, and still staying home and staying safe, Eric Granstrom will have a look at sports. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Surviving the Game, yeah, wow. It's not a very good movie. I got to meet F. Murray Abraham. He came into my record store and bought about $300 worth of CDs. And I got to meet Ice-T. I still have my autographed Ice-T photo at home somewhere. There you go. You want to be a part of the news team? As I mentioned yesterday, we're not going to give you any money, but you'll get our respect anyway. If you got a news tip out there, if you just want to drop us a line and say hi, we give you all the tools in the toolbox that we can for you. Our Facebook page is a great idea. Go to our Facebook page. The Facebook Messenger is right there. Drop us a note. Say hi. Give us a thumbs up while you're hanging around there. All right. You can go to our homepage at ncwlife.com. There's a Contact Us icon at the top of the screen. You push on that. You don't have to go when you do it. It doesn't make any sound. But the form pops up and you can fill that up. Or you can email us directly. News at ncwlife.com is our email address. News at ncwlife.com. We're going to take a break. Come back with sports, including part 2 of Eric's discussion. As conversation with Eastmont School District Athletic Director Russ Waterman. That'll be coming up. Plus, we have the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. And Casey Leigh, who brainstormed a really cool idea called the Share a Meal program. It's going to help everybody. It's a win-win-win. We'll talk about that with my conversation with Casey coming up in the back half of the hour. You're watching the Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett, and I urge all of you to stay home, stay healthy, and stay safe. Governor Inslee has asked all Washingtonians to stay home. That's the only way we're going to successfully fight the coronavirus. Uniformed officers won't ticket you, fine you, or arrest you for being on the roads. We want to educate you. You can help our community and the already thinly stretched healthcare professionals by staying home. I know that this community will do all it can to help get us through this pandemic. Thank you, and be well.
You don't have to be a member to enjoy the view and dine in style at Highlander Bar and Grill located at the beautiful Highlander Golf Course in East Wenatchee. Highlander Grill offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner with dine-in or takeout options. Highlander Bar and Grill's friendly staff is here to serve you 7 days a week. Call for reservations Friday night prime rib dinner. Contact Shalane, Highlander Grill's site coordinator, to schedule your corporate event or special occasion today.
Back at 22 minutes after the hour, still sitting at 35 degrees, clear skies, mid-60s today, gobs of sunshine, lower 70s on Friday. Clouds come in on Saturday. They're just going to come in and come out. And by Sunday, we go right back to the sunshine. It'll stay that way for Monday and Tuesday as well. Let's talk about sports. Of course, it was pretty devastating, the decision to close school for the rest of the year, and that meant no spring sports for all of the local high school athletes. And so the administrators are trying to figure out what we do now. Eastmont Athletic Director Russ Waterman, for him, that means hopefully things will get back to normal for the upcoming school year come this fall. So they're already starting to schedule athletics for the next school year. Russ had a chance to sit down with Eric Granstrom. It was a Zoom video conference, and Russ talked about the fall sports season and what the impacts on the athletic budget might be.
We've had the fall schedule set since probably mid-November. So football and volleyball, girls swim, cross country, volleyball, those are set. They're, non-leagues are set, tournaments are set, and we're ready to go. And even to the most part, most of winter is set right now, with a lot of things hanging in the balance with basketball, with a WIA amendment to move from a 20 to 24 game season. So we're still finagling some things there, but I think that's put in place. That's not going to affect us, at least in the Big Nine. That schedule for most, at least for Eastmont, I know that we're set for all of our maximum amount of games that we can do.
Budgetarily speaking, with the lack of sports that you've had this spring and a ton of athletes that you would normally have had to shuttle all over the eastern part of the state for activities, can you bankroll that for next year? I don't know how the budgeting works, or is that basically the end? What is it? June, July is your end of your fiscal year. You start a new one and you start from scratch, or how does that work?
Well, we've been just briefly speaking about this. When you look at the global perspective of finance, this has been something new for us, and kudos to our building principals and teachers in the district that have gone from a brick and mortar system in 1 to 2 weeks to a remote learning system. And we all know it's not perfect. We know that, but the passing out of Chromebooks to those that need it, I think it was 450 Chromebooks were passed out at Eastmont High School alone, so people can access things. I know that Localtel and Spectrum and local internet providers are giving free internet for homes for our community so kids can continue to learn. That comes at a price tag. That comes at a cost. And so I would be very hesitant to say that anything that we don't spend in athletics is going to be bankrolled and moved into athletics, because there might be a greater need academically for that. So that conversation really hasn't happened at the district level.
By the way, Eric will be visiting with Wenatchee School District Athletic Director Jim Beeson later on today to get his perspective on what's going on. We'll have that conversation with Eric and Jim tomorrow here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. One of the top recruits in the country has signed his letter of intent, going to play basketball for Gonzaga. His name is Jalen Suggs. He's a big guy. He's 6'4". He's from St. Paul, Minnesota. He becomes the most decorated recruit in Gonzaga basketball history. He already committed live on ESPN back in January, but there was an opening for the high school senior to opt out and play professional basketball, but he said, nope, going to Gonzaga. Suggs did 3 gold medals with Team USA at the international youth tournaments over the last few years. The standout quarterback safety became the first athlete in Minnesota history to win Mr. Football and Mr. Basketball in the same season. Congratulations, Zags. The largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament has been delayed a couple of months because of the coronavirus pandemic. We're talking about Hoop Fest in Spokane. It was pushed back. Usually it's in late June. They're going to have it August 22nd and 23rd now. Hoop Fest attracts more than 6,000 teams to downtown Spokane. An economic impact last summer of about $50 million, and they said they're still working out the logistics of the postponement. By the way, locally, the Sunburn Classic 3-on-3 basketball tournament is still scheduled for July 27th and 28th in East Wenatchee. Our NCAA Live Sports broadcast schedule continues for the week. Hockey night tonight. That's what we do here on Thursday nights. It's the Wenatchee Wild and the Cowichan Valley Capitals in BCHL action from the Town Toyota Center. The game is back on January 17th. We'll have it for you tonight at 7 with Arch Ecker on the play-by-play. Another great game of our past will air tomorrow night. The Bridge of Sportsmanship game from 2016 between the Panthers and the Wildcats. And then Saturday features Wenatchee and West Valley Girls District Soccer Championship game from back in 2017 at 2 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock on Saturday night, we'll have Wenatchee Valley Rams football against Tri-Cities in a game from July of 2016. And those are just some of the games that people are not playing on this Thursday. 27 minutes after the hour, a bunch of obscure holidays today. Today is Get to Know Your Customers Day, which is hard to do when you run a brick and mortar store and you don't have any customers, but it's on the list here for April 16th. Today is National Bean Counter Day. Today is National Healthcare Decisions Day. We've been doing that every day. Today is National Orchid Day. I know nothing of orchids. If you bought me an orchid, I would kill it in about an hour and a half. Today is National High Five Day. So there you go. Today is National Eggs Benedict Day. By far my favorite breakfast is a well-made plate of Eggs Benedict. But we're not doing any of those. No, today is National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day, which is what we've been doing pretty much every day. If you've been staying at home but still working at home remotely, of course, pajamas are the iconic sleepwear for the vast majority of people. And it gives you a good excuse to just hang around your house in your pajamas, which, again, a lot of people are doing. This would be a lot more interesting holiday if it was a regular day for everybody. Pajamas go back, they were originally known as pyjamas. Goes all the way back to the 17th century in Persia. And then when the British started traveling all over the world and taking kinds of traditions back to them, it was the British got a hold of pyjamas, brought it back to England. It became known as lounging attire. And then, of course, it came to the United States. I wish I had a pair of pajamas with a big, long stocking cap that, like 9 feet long. You've seen those. I don't have any of those. In some Asian countries where pajamas were originated, or pyjamas, if you were, people still wear them in public. They wear them in public on a regular basis. I have to tell you, when I go out and about, and I'm not doing that a great deal like we all shouldn't be, but if things were normal like they used to be, and you would go grocery shopping, hardware store, and stuff like that, and you would see people in their pajamas at the store. Walmart. It's disturbing. Anyway. Wear your pajamas to work day today. There you go. Today in history, I'm a Yankee fan, you know that. 91 years ago today, history was made April 16th, 1929, when the Yankees became the first team in Major League Baseball history to permanently feature numbers on the back of their uniforms. Now, the numbers corresponded to the batting order, which was by Babe Ruth was number 3, and Lou Gehrig was number 4, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The idea, of course, was the fans and the broadcasters could easily identify the players. By 1932, all Major League clubs were issuing numbers, and by 1937, of course, the leagues passed rules requiring all players to wear numbers. And of course, baseball is a numbers game, and I think they've retired something like 160 uniform numbers in Major League Baseball since Lou Gehrig was the first back in 1939. But numbers came to baseball uniforms on this date 91 years ago today. Oh, by the way, the Yankees beat the Red Sox in their home debut. April 16th, 1943, 77 years ago today, his name is Albert Hoffman, He accidentally figured out what LSD does to you. It was a complete accident. He was doing research on LSD, the hallucinogenic drug. He accidentally, Al Hoffman did, absorbed a small amount of LSD through his fingertips, and he said, whoa, something's going on here. 3 days later, on April 19th, 1943, he intentionally ingested 250 micrograms of LSD, which is not very much. That day, by the way, for LSD folks out there, is known as Bicycle Day because he took LSD and nothing happened, and then he got on his bicycle and was riding home from work to his home, and he went, whoa. By the way, Hoffman continued to take LSD throughout most of his life, and he lived to like in the 90s, but yeah, he accidentally discovered that LSD does some weird stuff to you. It happened on this date 77 years ago. Today, I will not be participating in the anniversary. And finally, 73 years ago today in Texas City, Texas, it was the SS Grant Camp was docked in port at Texas City. Had 2,200 tons of ammonium nitrate. It detonated. Then a chain reaction of fires and explosions in ships and oil storage facilities, and it was all said and done. 581 people died, including every member except one of the Texas City Fire Department. The disaster triggered the very first class action lawsuit against the United States government. The explosion in Texas City, Texas. That's a big boom there. Birthdays. No Charlie Chaplin, no movies. It's as simple as that. Without question, the most important figure in the history of the film industry. Charles Chaplin, of course, was born in England, remained an English subject his entire life, but of course all of his great movies were made in Hollywood. He was born in the state in 1889, died in 1977 at the age of 88. He did it all. He wrote the movies, he directed the movies, he produced the movies, he edited the movies, he starred in the movies, he composed the music for most of his motion pictures. He was such a perfectionist. He was, of course, an independent filmmaker. He never signed a contract with any studio, and that way he could take all the time that he wanted to make films exactly the way he wanted to make his films. And 6 of his movies are in the National Registry by far, more than any other single individual. Charlie Chaplin, the legend, born in the state in 1889. Had to mention Henry Mancini's birthday. My mom loved Henry Mancini. The composer, won a bunch of awards. He won 20 Grammy Awards, more than almost anybody else you can think of. 20 Grammy Awards. Where did he put them all? He also won 4 Academy Awards and a Golden Globe. The great Henry Mancini, composer and performer, born in the state of 1924. Dusty Springfield. I have I have a collection of records. I have about a dozen or so. But one album that never goes very far from my turntable is the 1968 classic album Dusty in Memphis by Dusty Springfield, who was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just a couple weeks after she died of breast cancer in 1999 at the age of 59. The great Dusty Springfield, one of the most underappreciated singers ever, was born in the state of 1939. And a couple of athletic legends, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of my favorites. He's 73 years old today. 6 times the NBA most valuable player. That's more than anybody else in history. 19 times an NBA All-Star, 15 times All-NBA, and of course he is the all-time NBA leader in points scored and career wins. He was then and remains today the all-time basketball games winner. The legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is 73. And I don't care what you think about Bill Belichick. A lot of people don't like Bill Belichick, the coach of the New England Patriots, but the guy has won 6 Super Bowls. Like him, hate him, whatever you think about it, he has the claim to fame. I think is probably the greatest NFL coach ever. Sorry, but that's the case. The numbers don't lie. Bill Belichick is 68 years old today. Somebody should probably tell him. And that's what we have for you at 35 minutes after the hour. Mike McNally's got an opinion. I'm stunned that Mike has an opinion. Then we'll come back in my conversation. We did this via Skype with Casey Leigh. It's the Share a Meal program. She came up with this incredible brainstorm. You can be a part of it. It's great for restaurants. It's great for the homebound and the homeless. And it's great for the folks at Lighthouse and Catholic Charities. It's a win-win-win. My conversation with Casey Leigh is coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow. We have live bands to rock the night away, comedy to make you laugh, and if that's not enough, we have poker every Monday and Wednesday night. Club Crow in Cashmere has it all. Check out our Facebook event page for dates and times. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, serving North Central Washington, is proud to offer the finest heating and cooling air quality products along with prompt and professional customer service since 1984. Regardless of the temperature outside, Arctic is here for you. Arctic offers a variety of services: residential and commercial heating, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Hi, my name is Blaine Johnson. I'm at Global Elite Motors. We're tied in with Global Car Care down here locally. So we're not your typical car buying experience. Somebody can come down here, take a look at what we have, and if we have the right vehicle for you, we'd be glad to help you out with it. A lot of times we are able to go out and find specific vehicles for somebody so that it fits their needs, their budget, and all the things that you want without you being obligated right away. If you're looking for a good, reliable car, come see me, Blaine Johnson, down at Global Elite Motors.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive. No nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated, Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Hey, do you want to know something great? And you want to make a real difference in the world? When you shuffle off this mortal coil, do you want to have made a difference that you were even alive, even here at all? Now, let me give you a tip I'm passing along from Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa said this: if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. She's right, you know. There's nothing more important a person can do than be a good husband, a good wife, or a good mother or father. I used to think that it didn't matter if I cured cancer or ended world hunger. If I hadn't been a good husband and dad, I'd be a failure. I still believe that. Well, I'm working on it, and I hope you are too. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Dr. Wayne Latimer's Integrative Chiropractic and Rehab Clinic is on North Mission Street. If you've been injured on the job, in an automobile accident, or a sports injury, call today and try his wraparound services. Call 884-HELP. That's 884-4357. Call Dr. Latimer's Integrative Chiropractic and Rehab Clinic today.
Kelly's Ace Hardware is open and ready to help with all the essential items you need at this time. Curb service and limited delivery available as well. You can always count on Kelly's when the community calls. Mailboxes Chelan provides important services to our community and will continue to do so on new limited hours. Whatever your shipping and receiving needs, Jerry and Sherry are here to help from 9 to 3 weekdays. Green Dot Subs is open for takeout business. All those fabulous sandwiches that people drive miles to get are still available at both locations in Manson and Chelan. Call ahead and they will make one for you.
Owner Andrew Vickery brings years of experience to help you transition your backyard into a place where memories are made, family time is looked forward to, and friends are always welcome. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa offers many different styles and sizes of artesian spas, both new and used, as well as residential and commercial pool and spa services, regular maintenance and repairs, and all the chemicals required to keep your pool and spa crystal clear. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa today.
We've been in this valley for almost 40 years, helping people get and stay strong. As I sit here in this empty gym, I want to remind you of that strength. We're a hard-working community built from agriculture and local business, and we'll get through this. In the meantime, stay distant, stay active, stay safe. We will all be here when this is over.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Once again, we are practicing safe television, social distancing wise, as I continue to conduct my interviews via Skype in the studio here in downtown Wenatchee. Casey Leigh is joining me from her compound, from her home. Hi, Casey. It's good to see you.
Hi, nice to see you this morning.
It's nice to join you. Before we get into the nuts and bolts about what we're going to talk about, you're a first-time participant on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Tell our television family a little bit about yourself, Casey. Give us a little bit of your background.
Well, I've lived in the Valley for 6 years. I retired from being a law professor at the University of Hawaii for 30 years. And my husband and I used to come here over by Lake Chelan for several years. And a few years after retiring, we both felt like we'd like to be back on the mainland and be closer to our family. So this was, even though our family doesn't live here, this was a logical place to come because we just love it over here. So that's what brought me here.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad the Wenatchee Valley drug in a couple more really cool people. We have a habit of doing that. Casey, you reached out to me yesterday about the Share a Meal program that kind of just sort of popped into your brain. Talk about the genesis of it. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, as I've told some people, I'm kind of a natural-born organizer. And in the days of COVID, I have nothing to organize because all of my volunteer work has been canceled. And I'm a huge supporter of our local restaurants, and I really wanted to help them stay in business. And I also felt like I'd like to do something for food security for the people who actually during this time need food. And it just, I don't know, it just occurred to me one morning that if I could put those two together with members of the public, maybe something positive could be done. And that's started the Share a Meal program.
So you came up with this idea, and now you're going to go, how do I implement it? Who do I get a hold of? How does this work? Now you have to get into the logistics part of it. Walk me through that.
Well, I started out with a restaurant I go to about once a week, which is San Francisco Sourdough Eatery, because I love their sandwiches.
I love their Reubens. Their Reubens are phenomenal.
They're awesome. So I went and called Kathleen, she's the owner, and asked her if this would interest her. And she said, yes, definitely would. So that encouraged me to go forward. And I thought, well, I first need to find community groups who serve food to people in need. And somebody suggested Catholic Charities. So I started with Catholic Charities, and they do have programs for feeding people who need food. And particularly the one that moved me was providing food for homebound seniors. They have 30 homebound seniors that they provide food for. And then I was aware of the Lighthouse Mission, and that they had homeless shelters and provided food. So I got in touch with Pastor Sean, and they were also delighted to participate in the program. They feed up to around 60 homeless people every day, and certainly we're very happy to have some additional options for food. So now I thought, well, I have 2 places where the food could go, so now I need to get some more restaurants. And then probably my favorite dinner restaurant is Sweetwood Barbecue. They make the best barbecue outside of the South, where I spent a good part of my life. And Benj was very excited about it and happy to participate. And also Dilly Deli, because those 2 are both owned by Benj and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to try to get a variety of different types of restaurants. So I've been to classic Bob's Classic Burger.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we go to functions at the PAC, we have dinner there first, my friends and I. So I approached them, and they were very excited about it as well. The owner of that is Pete, and
Pete Kuntz, he's a great guy. Yep.
He was extremely excited about it and agreed to participate. And then I actually went and bought a burger at Dizzy D's, because friends of mine and I used to go there. And so I just checked with Dee and said, "Are you interested?" And she said, "Yeah, that would be really, they would enjoy it as well." I was still working on trying to get some other restaurants, but it seemed like I had 5, and that would be a good way to start. And then I was left with I've never done anything like this before, so I was left with the problem of how do I get the word out. So I started with the Chamber of Commerce, thinking they would have some ideas. And I talked to Jerry there, and one of the first questions she asked me was, "Do you have a logo?" Of course, I'd never thought about a logo, didn't know how to make a logo. And she very kindly offered to and made us our logo. So the Share a Meal logo is compliments of Jerry. And then she put me in touch with Lacey at the Together Wenatchee. And so Lacey was also extremely helpful and excited. And she said, "Well, let's just get it up on the website tomorrow." And I thought, wow, that's fast. But what the heck, I want to get it out. So she put the webpage together on their web, and also arranged to put it out in their social media. So that launched it.
So you have the restaurants. In a recap, you got Bob's Classic. Again, kudos to the Kuskies on that. I'm not surprised by this list here, by the way, Casey. All of these restaurants not only are great food, but they're heavily involved in the community. With Dilly Deli and San Francisco Sourdough Eatery, Sweetwood, Dizzy D's. I'm not surprised at all. Catholic Charities is on board. Lighthouse Ministries is on board. So you have the restaurants, and you have the recipients, and in between you got goofballs like me, John Q. Public. How do we knit these 2 things together? How do I, as an individual, and how do the people who watch this show help you out and help the Share a Meal program out?
Actually, it's very easy. All you have to do is call one of the restaurants and say you would like to buy a gift certificate for the Share a Meal program, and whatever denomination you would like for that gift certificate. When the restaurant reaches enough dollars within their gift certificates to be able to prepare a meal to meet the requirements of either Catholic Charities or the Lighthouse Mission, they will call one or both of them up and make the arrangements, and then volunteers from the mission or from the Catholic Charities will go and pick up the food and deliver it to back to their group. So it's really very simple. It's just a matter of a phone call, and you don't even have to leave your home. So it really works well in our stay home, stay healthy environment.
So you just call the restaurants directly, you buy the certificate, and then they just basically take it from there. And of course, the more, if you go to all 5 restaurants and buy a little bit from each of them, you're going to get them up to that point where they can start bringing the meals out to those who need them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is a great idea, Casey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll work. I really appreciate you helping me get the word out to the public, because that's something that's, I think, really important. If the people don't know about it, then there's no way they'll support it. This way, I'm virtually certain that when people hear about it, they'll want to participate.
And who's kidding who? Even though one of the reasons that grocery store shelves are not so well stocked anymore is that many more people are now cooking at home. But that can only go so far, and who's kidding who?
Right.
I mean, I love a Reuben at the San Francisco Sourdough Eatery. The burgers at Bob's are fantastic. The burgers at Dilly Deli is fantastic. You're spot on about Sweetwood Barbecue. People want a nice meal every once in a while, prepared by somebody else.
Yes, definitely. And I'm not the best cook in the world, so that's another reason I appreciate restaurants more than the average person, probably.
Anything else we want to touch on? Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Casey, but San Francisco Sourdough has 2 locations. The one in Wenatchee, I believe, is closed, but the one in East Wenatchee is open, correct?
Correct. The one in East Wenatchee is open.
And that's the one you're going to want to call, obviously.
And for Bob's Classic, you can call either the East Wenatchee or the West,
Wenatchee
well, it's called Classic. Bob's Classic West, but it's in Wenatchee.
Well, I want to kudos to the 5 restaurants who are participating, and kudos to you, Casey, for coming up with this idea and then getting the Lighthouse and Catholic Charities on board, because it looks like we can get these meals distributed to the homebound and the people who need it, who can't necessarily afford it, and it's good food and it's good tasting, and it'll make you feel better too.
And the other thing I'd like to say, the information is posted on the togetherwenatchee.com website. And I'm going to try to get to Lacey today all of the information about the phone numbers for the restaurants and the hours that they're open. We don't have that up yet, but I hope to have that done by today.
That's fantastic, Casey. It's great to talk to you. Thanks for doing this. And if you need more help, if you need more momentum to get the word out, you know where to find me.
Thank you. And one last thing, if there are any other restaurants that would like to participate, they can text me at 808-217-2386.
That's 808-217-2386. That's a direct line to Casey. Let's get more restaurants involved. That's a great idea.
Thank you very much, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Casey. Again, if you need our help, you know where to find me.
Okay.
Okay, take care.
Have a good day. Be safe.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around north central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Pybus Public Market shops are open for business online while the concourse is closed. Go to www.pybusmarket.org, click on the red Pybus Market and COVID-19 button to shop online. There you will find current information you need for each merchant. We thank you for your support of our Pybus Market merchants during this time. Arlberg Sports, D'Olivo, Balsam Root Boutiques, Anderson Family Farm, The Cheesemonger's Shop, and Jones of Washington. Save Mart remains open to serve our community with its huge selection of furniture, mattresses, and appliances. Parts and service department is ready to make sure you have what you need to keep your household functioning during these unusual times. Wenatchee Power Sports is keeping its parts and service departments open to serve the greater community. Agriculture and others depend on these machines to continue to produce and transport the goods and services we need. If you have a pest problem, Harvest Valley Pest Control will remain available to take care of your needs. Call 797-0090 and let us know how we can make your home pest-free.
And we are back in about 55 minutes after the hour. Clear skies. We're up to 39 degrees, mid-60s, lots of sunshine. Forecast details are coming up. I wanted to give you the latest numbers we have on the COVID-19 pandemic here in the Wenatchee Valley. These are new numbers from what we told you earlier in the day. New numbers released last night show Grant County has added 7 new positive COVID-19 cases. That brings Grant County's total now to 129. The Grant County Health District says the new cases were in Royal City, Mattawa, and Moses Lake. Chelan County still has 61 people as of last night testing positive. In Douglas County, 29. Okanagan County did not add any new cases yesterday. They remain at 14. None of the 4 counties reported new deaths. Now, despite the apparent slower spread of the virus, of course, health officials throughout the region are still warning residents to remain diligent about protecting themselves and protecting others. Wanted to give you the latest numbers as we had them from the local health districts. Okay, now let's talk about something a little bit nicer. The weather forecast. First of all, we're going to look into next week because, well, quite frankly, we can look into next week. And it's looking really good. Basically Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. It's going to be dry. It's going to be very little wind. Maybe a passing shower in the foothills around the Wenatchee Valley, specifically to the west of us, the Leavenworth Lake Wenatchee Plain area. Could get a little bit of light rain also to the north of us, the Methow Valley and the Okanagan area. This is on Saturday. Probably not here. Temperatures will be pretty nice for the Wenatchee Valley. And then by the middle of next week, especially Wednesday, things are going to go back to unsettled. What we really need is rain. And our next chance of any measurable rain, and there isn't really much of that, is Wednesday of next week. So as far as next week is concerned, looking not bad as far as the next few days. Well, there you go. And by the way, the National Weather Service is pretty confident, and I'm quoting now from them. There is a good model agreement, both deterministic in the short term and ensemble average fields in the longer term. I don't know what that means. I'm not a meteorologist, but they're pretty confident we're in for a relatively quiet and mild stretch of weather today. I have about 66 degrees, which is just about what we got yesterday, but we had the cloud cover, which was not expected yesterday. We only got to 65 on Wednesday, and that happened at noon, and then we kind of got cooler as the day progresses. We kind of did things backwards. But sunshine today, high of about 42 degrees, high of about 66 degrees, 42 for the overnight low tonight. Sunshine Friday, warmer still, 72 for the afternoon high. It's going to be a good day to get out and get some vitamin D. 45 for the overnight low on Friday. Now, Saturday, here come the clouds. We have just the slightest chance of some light morning rain. It's less than 20%, so we're not even going to put it up there graphically. Certainly cloudy. It's going to be cloudy on Saturday. Not going to get around that. Sun's taking the day off, but we're probably not going to get any rain. I wouldn't bet on it anyway. About 70 for the afternoon high on Saturday. 43 for the overnight low on Saturday night. Sunday, right back to sunshine. Mild temperatures, 74 degrees. I like that. Overnight low, 44 on Sunday. We do it again Monday. Warmer still. Highs will be in the mid-70s. About 76 on Monday. 46 for the overnight low Monday night. Tuesday, another nice day. Mostly sunny skies. Just a few passing clouds with a high of about 74. Overnight low Tuesday, 46 degrees. And then as we mentioned, come Wednesday, the clouds will be back. It'll cool down. It'll only be about 68 or 69. But at least we have a chance of measurable rain. And that is what we really need. We talked about this a couple of times in the course of this week's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, especially on Monday and Tuesday. We talked about how dry we are, and we are dry. We have had no measurable precipitation this month at all. For the month of March, we had 2 days out of the entire month of March where they had enough rain to actually register on the gauge at Payne-Moore Memorial Airport. And in February, we only had 2 days in the entire month of February where we had enough moisture, enough precipitation to actually register on the rain gauge. So we are in drought conditions, and it looks like it's going to stay that way, but pleasant anyway. Those temperatures, almost all of them that you saw, were slightly above normal. Early in the week, we reported about how here in north central Washington, we're kind of falling behind on returning our census, counting the numbers. We do it every 10 years. We count up how many people we are. My idea is that we all go out in our front yard at the same time, and they just do like a Google Earth thing. We all wave, but apparently that's not accurate enough. So tomorrow on this show, via Skype, I'll be talking to Jeff Enos from the U.S. Census Bureau. He'll be joining me from Los Angeles, California. He's part of the entire West Coast Census Bureau office. I think there's 7 states that Jeff oversees, and trying to figure out why it is that us here in the north central Washington area are a little behind getting our census information in. We'll talk about that with Jeff. That'll be on tomorrow's show. Have a good Thursday. Till then, take care and bye-bye.